All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Salvatore. I'm our VP of Business Development here at RSP USA. I'm joined by some of my teammates here in the chat. Molly Garrison, one of our top reps, who's going to be monitoring the chat for me, allowing people to enter and exit the room. She'll be answering any questions. If you have any, feel free to throw them in the chat. I'll also stop to throughout the presentation to answer any questions at that time. We're also joined by Hannah Steele, our head of marketing. She's just joining to help manage the chat as well. If there's any questions, any concerns, feel free to throw it in the chat and we'll address it. So we're going to get started. I'm sure some people will join shortly after, but we'll get going. Be conscious of your guys' time. So uh, again, my name is Kevin Salvatore. I'm the VP of Business Development here, and we're going to be covering RSP's Target Farming Report campaign. This is our flagship product. Many of you may be familiar with RSP already. RSP stands for Realty Specialty Pro. A lot of you know us for our Just As It Just Sold postcards, our Facebook ad campaigns, many of our different marketing products that help you generate listing inquiry leads. But primarily, what RSP is famous for is our Target Farming Report campaign. This is what has propped up the company for more than 28 years. It is our flagship product, and it is tried, tested, and patented to us. So we are the only ones that do anything like it. So just to kind of cover a little bit about the company, a little bit about the product. So we have over 5,000 five-star reviews from agents nationwide. We've been in business for 28 years. And this is largely using our targeted farming program designed to help you generate listing inquiry leads. Okay. So that's an important distinction because I know that a lot of different lead gen out there helps you generate buyer's leads. Our program actually helps you generate listing inquiry leads and helps you defend market share within hyper localized market areas. And we're going to talk about that. So, two themes that you're going to hear throughout this presentation is data driven insights and automation. Okay. So, what we mean by data driven insights is I always like to frame it like this. RSP, when a lot of people hear about us, they know about us, they think of us as a direct mail company, which is true. We do attach our marketing to direct mail. But actually, first and foremost, we are a data company. So, what I mean by that is we give agents and homeowners data driven insights to help generate business. And the way that works is we start out by telling you what the best farm areas are for you, specifically based on your agency, your production, and the market area that you're looking at. Okay. So, you use our free online database right up front. If you've ever farmed before, you've ever tried direct mail, you've heard of somebody trying direct mail around you, you know the hardest part about farming is picking a good area. So we take that right out of the equation right up front by telling you what the best ROI areas are going to be for you. So you go on our website, rspusa.com, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. And you enter a zip code. And once you identify yourself, you identify your agency, we tell you specifically what the best farm areas are going to be for you. And we give you the turnover rate, we give you the last 5 years of MLS data, we give you all good actionable insights on the area to tell you specifically what are going to be the best areas, the highest ROI areas. And then once you reserve that area, it becomes exclusive to you. And we use that data to scrub your mailing lists out to make sure you're getting to the best people in that farm area, people that actually are going to receive your mailer. We scrub out all the people that are not where you'd be wasting money mailing to. And then on top of that, our farm reports are market updates for that area specifically. So if you're mailing to area A, area B, and area C, right? Area A might not care about the market update for area B. It's not a blanket market update though. So area A's market update is going to be specific to area A. Area B's market update is going to be specific to area B. So with that said, we're giving that homeowner in that specific area good actionable information. So then the second part of this is automation. And in 2026, a lot of people hear automation, they think AI, they think computers, but we use human level automation. So the way that works is once you reserve your farm area that's exclusive to you, you get assigned a marketing assistant who's going to help you design your campaign, deploy your campaign, facilitate it. It's a very hands-off process. So I always say if you can email, you can answer your phone, then you could farm with RSP. You don't need to be computer literate. You don't need to be tech savvy. We do it all for you. It's a one-stop shop. Most agents, once they're set up and going with our farming campaigns, they maybe spend 10 to 15 minutes per mailing on their farm reports. Okay. just reviewing, making high level suggestions. Hey, I like this headshot. Actually, let's change it this month. Let's change this verbiage this month to this specific area. And it's really hands off. So a concierge level of support. So again, our targeted farming report campaign, it's exclusive to the specific area you choose. So you start by entering a zip code. And once you get to that zip code, it's going to either be divided by subdivision. It could even be divided down to the street level as well. And you choose the specific areas that you want to reserve. Once you reserve them, and it can be reserved as a single agent, a duo, or a team. Once that area is reserved, it's exclusive to you, meaning we do not sub it out to multiple different agents. It is your area. And then we use our smart targeting, data-driven insights, our system to use the tax roll data and the MLS data to target the most qualified prospects in regards to we scrub out foreign nationals, LLCs, do not solicits, people that you'd be wasting your money mailing to anyway. And our mail pieces, don't worry, I'm going to show you a bigger version of this, always have the homeowner's name on it. Okay, so it's not going to go to current resident. It's actually going to go to John and Jane homeowner as opposed to, going to current resident. So it's a little bit more personalized. And then on top of that, if you select a farm area that has tenants in it, the landlord doesn't live there, they live somewhere else, we actually forward your mailing on your behalf to the actual homeowner. So the homeowner's actually, the decision maker is actually going to receive your mail piece. Okay. So concierge design delivery, we design your report, we print it, we mail it. It's all handled by our team. It's totally hands off. Like I said, once you get through your initial setup process, you get your template set up of how you kind of generally want it to look. You might spend all of 10 to 15 minutes per mailing on it, just making light suggestions, light adjustments to it. Okay, so it's all handled by us. And let me show you what actually is on the mail piece. Is there any questions so far? If not, I'll keep going. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. All good? Perfect. Must mean I'm doing a good job then. So this is our target farm report. And again, this is one of many templates, okay? So this is a bifold. It's about the size of a sheet of paper. And it comes across as the market review update for whatever area you are mailing to. So think of this as the front of it. The crease is going to be here. And it folds. This is the back. This is the front. And your headshot's going to be here. It's going to be your agency's branding, your colors, their logos, whatever stock image you choose. We have several hundred to pick from. But then if you decide, hey, I want to provide you one, you could do that as well. Always going to have the homeowner's name, like I had said. And if you're mailing area A, area B, area C, it's going to have area A. Let's just say area A is Kingsview, right? I'll have Kingsview. The next area could be Queens Court. It's going to be dynamic to each area, okay? And then they flip it over. So I'm the homeowner. I get this. It's a market update for my area. It's informative. It's intriguing. I flip it over now, and I see on the back of it this blurb, which is written by us, not ChatGPT. We actually have a flesh and blood copywriter in-house. But if you decide, hey, I want to change this. I want to make this a little more personable because I live in Kingsview. You could change a sentence. You could change a whole blurb, right? You could say, hey, I'm your neighbor. I live here. I have vested interest. And then area B, you might have a pocket listing coming up, right? Or you might want to say, hey, I have this pocket listing coming up. So you can message to each individual area, okay? So then here, you're going to see your headshot, your agency's, your contact information. And then we always leave enough room here to allow you to include a QR code if you have like a link tree or you have any digital assets that you might want to include. I'm going to talk about this part last because this is actually dynamic to each individual homeowner. But coming on down here now, we're coming to the interior now. And remember, this is a bifold. So I get this. My name's on the front of it. It's a market review for my area. It's intriguing. I flip it over. Now I read your messaging. You custom message to me. The more personalized you get with this, the better. Okay, now I'm going to open it up. So on the interior is where we come back to data-driven insights, right? It's going to be all comparables that are going to be around my home area that are actually relevant to me. So again, if you're mailing area A, area B, and area C, if I live in area A, I don't care about what's in area B and area C. I really just want to see what's going on around me. So we provide you this comp data upfront automatically, okay? And you could curate this list, you could edit this list, you get a proof every time before we mail out, okay? So if I'm the homeowner, I get this now, and this might seem logical to everyone on this call, but I'm going to say it just because it does make sense once I kind of frame it like this. No one decides to list their home overnight, right? It's usually a decision over time. And the way this works is they receive this mail piece every 60 days by default. Um, and you're influencing that person over time, right? So the first one they get, they might not even really look at. The second one they get, okay, this is intriguing. Let me kind of take a glance. Third one they get, they got that promotion. They got to move now, and you've been providing them good information up until that point, right? So I open this up, and this isn't magic. It's not going to make me want to list my home if I didn't want to list my home, but if I had it in my mind, you're influencing me over time. And I open this up now, and I see all the good comparable data. I might not know the streets, right? But I definitely know the neighborhoods. I drive past a High Grove sign every day on my way to work. So now you're giving me good, actionable information about potentially listing my home. Okay. And you're doing this over time. And then on the bottom is your bragging rights, right? Your social proof. So most of this is geared to be informative, but we always want you to have an area where you could kind of show off what you've been doing. And keep in mind, this is just one of many templates. So you don't necessarily always have to have featured properties. You can include several different things. But if you're including featured properties, which is our default, it's going to have your last 3 MLS events by default. But let's just say you're a new agent, or you don't want to include the last 3 MLS events to this particular area, then you could choose any from your brokerage, okay? Any listing that or any transaction that your brokerage has, okay? And include that. So this is customizable. This whole thing can obviously be edited. You could change this comp list. If the area is very small, you have 4 comps, it kind of looks silly. You might want to increase the geographic radius so you can do that. Um, and the way this works, right, is influence over time, okay? So coming back to the exterior of it now, if you look on the rear, this whole mail piece, or prior to that, this whole mail piece is dynamic to the area, but then this part here is actually dynamic to the individual homeowner. So each homeowner that gets this, their home's going to be in the center of this map, and it's got the sold properties around them, and then they're going to see myhomemess.com. So if I'm the homeowner, I get this, and I want to, potentially check out my home's value, right? I could either go on my desktop, I could type myhomemess.com and type ACVHCD, like my specific code that's specific to me, or I could scan this. So let's just say I scanned it. I would end up on myhomemess.com, and let me reload this page here real quick because normally, there we go, perfect. It will show this is our demo page. It'll show the homeowner's Google Earth image, and the second the homeowner lands on this page now, we scrape from their IP address, their email, their phone number, their info, and send it to you in a text and email. Okay, so I didn't enter anything, I didn't fill out a lead form, and I'm the homeowner, and I scanned this. You're going to be notified automatically. Okay, so most people, they're going to call you, they're going to email you, right? But in this instance, let's just say I'm a little shy, being a millennial, I don't want to get on the phone. Then the good part of that is I scan this, you have my information to reach out now or to plug me into a CRM or whatever the case is. So I land on this page, I see the Google Earth image of my home. I see the algorithmic estimate. So we give them the best estimate and we give a range. Okay. And then that's the same as Zillow. That's the same as Redfin, Realtor.com. So all the big players, same algorithm. And then different data on this page. All these buttons lead back to you. So you already got an email and text from this homeowner landing on this page. If I click any of these buttons, they all lead back to you. You're going to get follow-up emails as well. Hey, this person's really engaging. And then on top of it, one really cool thing that's specific to us is I land on this page, you have my information, automatically by default, and this is a value add that we added for free, this homeowner is going to receive 6 postcards free of charge, first class mail for the next 6 weeks. Okay. So automated follow-up. So I'll give you the prime example of this, right? So let's just say you get my info, you call me, I have a screaming child in the background. I probably do. I have 2 young children, right? And I'm like, hey, I can't really talk right now. I gotta get back to you. I forget to call you back, right? A week goes by. I'm going to be being followed up with via direct mail from you for the next 6 weeks, free of charge. That happens automatically. You don't have to lift a finger. We do it all for you. Okay. So is there any questions about that? All good right now? If not, I'll continue on. Perfect. So coming back to our slide deck here, I always like to kind of frame this for agents, right? Who's this for and who's it not for? And I always like to set proper expectations on this slide, all right? So, who is farming for? So, agents that see farming as a long-term investment. And the reason why is because in our 28 years of doing this, and this probably matches what you might have heard in some of your realtor training. I know a lot of big companies like Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, they have farming classes. So you might have heard this statistic, but it actually bears out in our data. It takes 4 to 8 mailings on average in our 28 years of agents doing this for them to yield a listing. So keep in mind, we mail every 60 days by default. Okay. And it takes 4 to 8 mailings on average. So it's a little bit of delayed gratification. The reason why is exactly what I described to you, right? The human experience of I get a mail piece, I don't really look at it, it goes on my hutch. I get a second one, okay, this is kind of intriguing. Let me look at this. I've been kind of thinking about maybe doing something with my home. I put it to the side. Third mail piece, I get, okay, I'm getting ready to do something. Fourth mail piece, I'm ready to do something now, right? So you're influencing that person over time, and your capture rate within that area is going to increase the longer you mail it. So that is a very important expectation to have going into. So it's a long-term investment. Okay. So understanding that consistency is key is a very important part of this because that is the magic of direct mail in real estate. Okay. And we keep you consistent by essentially automating the process and doing it all for you. It's hands off. So people that follow up with the leads generated, right? So obviously this is going to start the conversation for you, but it's not magic. It's not going to make somebody automatically list your home, right? Sometimes you get an HVE lead, our home value, our QR code. They scan it, you call them, like they get buyer's defense. I was just curious, and like that, but they're scanning for a reason, right? So you want to kind of try to overcome that and nurture those people, and eventually they do convert. We know that from all of our top agents with RSP. They tend to have a lot of commonalities, and the people that have the most success. And one of them is they have their own follow-up system. They have a CRM or they have whatever system in place to help them follow up. So who's this for? People that value the concierge level of service and automation, right? So I'm not going to sit here and kid you that you couldn't do this by bringing together 4 different companies and websites and trying to make a Frankenstein of what we do under one roof, right? Who this is really for is for people that value having that concierge level of service under one roof, that one-stop shop, that really ease of use to do this. Because if any of those agents that do try that historically, they end up coming and farming with us anyway because they realize how much work it is, and they're like, "Oh man, I should have just went to you guys in the first place, right?" So concierge agents that value the concierge level of service and automation is huge. And then who's it not for, right? Let's talk about that. So a lot of agents, a lot of lead gen out there too, like kind of likes to hype up like, hey, you're going to get a listing tomorrow from this, right? But anyone that's telling you that, they're selling you snake oil. The truth is, uh, this is not for agents that want a result overnight. I'm not sitting here telling you that it's impossible because I know probably over 20 agents off the top of my head that have gotten a listing within their first 2 mailings. It happens a lot. It just depends on your presence in the area. It depends on how long you're working. It depends on you as an agent, right? So it does happen, but the average nationally for 28 years of us doing this is 4 to 8 mailings. Okay, so you're hopping into this with expecting a result overnight, then I don't want to disappoint you. It's unlikely, but it can happen. So who's this not for? Agents that want thousands of unqualified leads versus quality leads, right? And I could talk a little bit about this firsthand. So I was a mortgage lender for 6 years prior to being with RSP, and I co-partnered with a lot of my realtor partners on different marketing, whether it be Zillow, Realtor.com, and I know that a lot of those websites can generate 40, 50 buyers leads in a month, and you call that list, and maybe 5 of them answer as real people, right? And 2 of those people are actually real. Where with RSP per mailing, if you're mailing about 300, which is our minimum, or 300 addresses, right? You're going to see on average 2 to 6 leads per se. But they're going to be listing inquiry leads. A little bit more valuable than buyer's leads, in my opinion, because you can market off of a listing, right? You can build your business off of a listing. And they're going to be inquiring with you. That's the most important thing. They're inquiring with you. They're reaching out to you. Okay. And another beautiful part about our product is it's passive. So it's kind of dripping in the background while you might be doing more active things like cold calling lists and expireds and so on. So then agents that don't commit to consistent follow-up and relationship building, right? It's kind of what I said before, and it kind of makes sense. I'm sure it bears out in your business. You know, if you don't have a follow-up system in place, you expect to kind of just have people call you, and it can happen, right? Come give me a CMA right now. That's the best call you want to hear. But um, a lot of times you have to nurture some of these people. And if you don't have that in place, then this might not be the program for you. And then finally, the most important, people that view farming as an expense, not an investment. And this is huge, right? It's kind of what I said before. It's a long-term investment. It takes time, consistency over time. Um, the reason it's an investment is because your capture rate in the areas that you are mailing will increase over time. So the longer you hold an area, the stronger your market presence will become there, right? So my marketing director might jump in and kind of laugh at this, but I always give a marketing statistic here that we all kind of know it. We've heard it at some point where we see a product at least 10 times subconsciously before we consciously decide to buy it. It kind of works the same way, right? You're kind of mailing and dripping on these people over time, and eventually they're going to reach out because you've been providing them good, actionable information. Okay. So, with that said, we're going to show you guys how to actually look at our free online database. And I said free. You don't have to create a login. You don't have to do anything. You could just go on our website and you can follow along. And this is where we tell you how to pick the best farming areas for you specifically. Okay. So I'm going to show you our website here. And if you want to follow along, feel free. Enter in your own area. So our website is rspusa.com. Okay. And you can either go to the products tab and click target farming. There's lots of information about our target farming campaigns. Or you could go right here if you want to jump right into the database. Already know where you want to farm or have an idea. You click that and you see a zip code. I'm just going to enter this zip code. This is the one I use. And we're going to click explore exclusive areas. So you're going to see this page next here, which is asking you to identify yourself. So this is a very important step because we not only tell you what the best farm areas are based on the market data, but we tell you based on your transactions, based on your agency's transactions. So you always want to try to identify yourself, right? So you enter your last name. In this instance, I use my agent, Miss Gutman. So we're going to do find me and Denise Gutman. There she is. That's her agency. That's her email. We're going to click select her. And I'm Denise. I identified myself now. And we're loading in now. So we already did one of the critical steps here, which is identifying myself. And then here's going to be where we refine our target, right? So there's a couple different ways you can look at our data. So if you already know very specifically what you want to farm, you've been farming it, you could jump right into the database by selecting this. But I always recommend you set these filters because we have a smart algorithm that generates the top 50 farm areas within a radius. And we tell you kind of like, hey, this is what we think the best picks are. And I'll show you kind of how that works. So to set these filters right, you could do all residential, you could do single family homes, you could do condos, townhome, villas. Let's just say I'm interested in single family homes, right? Now this price range is going to automatically be set, right? It's presets based on the average of the area, the zip code that we selected. But let's just say I want to be aspirational, right? Like I want to kind of go to the top of that range up to 1 million, right? Because I think like, anything above 1 million, I might be intimidated to take, right? So I set my range and then I always kind of like to do this step first, even though it goes in this order. So you want to enter your address. And if you don't, that's fine. It'll just use the center of the zip code that you originally entered. But entering your address or your home office, wherever you particularly work out of, is important because this will calculate the driving distance, where your radius works out from, right? And using where you work out of specifically is going to be the best option. And the reason why is because it's going to calculate where the best farms are in proximity to you. Okay. So in this instance, I'll do the address. And let's just say I look at this now, driving distance, right? This is how we pick how big our radius is. So depending on where you are in the country, driving more than 10 miles might be insane. It might take you 2 hours if like you're in like Metro Miami or Metro New York versus like if you're in South Texas and 50 miles is not unreasonable, right? So for this instance, just for the sake of showing you guys this, I'm going to do 10 miles and I'm going to click generate my top 50 farm areas. So you already see I have some in the cart. It's telling me I reached the 300 address minimum. That's just because I use Denise a lot for a demo. So in this instance, right, you'll see a couple things going on this page. So first and foremost, you see our map, you see our chart. And what it tells us here is the top 50 best farm areas out of 154 analyzed ranked by points. Okay. So within my pin here where I put my address in, within 10 miles, it took the best farm areas that are available, right? So none of these are not available. And it's telling me what the best areas are based on our scoring algorithm. Okay. So you'll see here, Waterside South. I'll just show you this one, for example. 24 single family homes. It tells you how far it is from that pin that we put and what zip code. We give you the average sales price. We give you the turnover rate on 5 years, and we give you the points here, right? So before we jump into the points, we could click this here, see details, and we could see the last 5 years of MLS data. So we could see what sold, when it happened, the ML number, what it listed for, what it sold for, who listed it, and who sold it. And we can look at the last 5 years of data if we really want to kind of jump into it. And then we can also look at the assessed values and addresses for the area as well. What is this area defined as, okay? So that flame there just means that another agent was looking at this at one point. If you see a star, it just means that you had a listing because you identified yourself. You had one transaction in this area, so it might be a good one to pick. So we give you the sample size of the area. We give you a couple different things. So if I want to jump to it on the map, right, I click it, and you can see here. And let's just say I want to kind of see what this area is about, right? Like I want to see what we define it as. I could click plot property markers, and it kind of gives me an idea. And it might not have these because they're unfinished, or it might just be the Promenade Estates in Palmer Ranch. So these might be defined as other areas. But let's just say Promenade Estate, and you can see how hyper localized our data is, right? I want to select this area now. I want to look at the points, see why it scored number 2 out of 154. I click points, and I can look, and it actually tells you very specifically why we picked it. So it says 7 points for turnover rate. A 8.4% turnover rate is significantly stronger than the 4.5% turnover rate within the 10-mile radius of where we selected, right? So we know the average within 10 miles of my pin is 4.5. So we keep that in our head. Agent listings, I haven't had any transactions here. The price point, it takes into consideration, it's the range I gave it, and it will score it based accordingly. Dominant agent. So an area might be available, but if an agent has a dominant presence, they have over 30% of the listings there, you might not want to farm it, right? Because then you're going to be fighting an uphill battle. So this actually will have negative points if we decide that there's a dominant agent there. Number of units. So we give it a score based on how many units, and the higher the number of units, the better, because it's statistical trust, right? If I tell you an area has 10 units, right, and it has a 30% turnover rate, just means that 3 of those units have sold, versus an area with, let's just say 50 units at a 6% turnover rate would objectively be a better area. So with that said, we take that into consideration. Agency market share. We tell you how, based on your agency, how much market share do they actually have in this zip code? Because if you don't have any transactions, but your agency has a high market presence in the area, based against the number of other agencies in the area, then that might be a good area to pick anyway, because objectively, you could ride on the coattails of your agency's success. The brand is recognized. Then finally, distance from the base, right? So if I'm giving you a top 50 list, and you could pick 2 areas that are essentially very good, but one's very close to home, you can essentially roll out of bed and head on over there, or it's very close to your office, right? That's going to be a good pick. Okay. So with that said, let's just say I wanted to add this in, right? I select it, and it adds into my cart here, and it gives me the number of units. And again, our minimum is 300. We give you the average sales price of your overall campaign. So then I could kind of look at different areas, and let's just say I know specifically now, like, okay, I this top 50 list is nice, right? But I know specifically in some addresses I want to check out. So I could go here, and I could look at all the zip codes in the surrounding area. And let's just say I want to go, well, that's where I am right now. But yeah, I want to jump in there to this zip code. Now it's going to still apply my filters up top, but it's going to show me everything. It's going to show me the good, the bad, the ugly. And I can kind of look based on these filters and see what's in this area. And I see, oh, Lake Estates, it was in the best subs list. Okay, I want to add this 185 homes. And I know that right now it's performing technically above that median of 4.5 that we saw in the top 50. It told us that. So I add this. We got above 300 addresses. Now it allows me to potentially lock in my farm area. Okay. So I'm not going to get too in depth into pricing today on this call because it's going to vary wildly based on the number of addresses you pick, right? But we know that it mails every 60 days. We know that the minimum is 300. So if you were to pick close to the minimum and you don't pay this all up front, you would be at about $2,700 for the year. Okay. So when you compare that to other marketing out there, it's very affordable. And we actually have a dynamic ROI calculator. So it took into consideration, let's just say, my listing commission's 3%, my split 75%. It tells me here what I can expect to earn with one transaction after paying for RSP and after paying my brokerage. So you can see here, this is where that ROI is tremendous, right? So with that said, if you want to book a call, you want to find out more specifically about your specific situation, about our pricing, how it works, and you really kind of want to look into this with an expert, I'm going to have Molly throw her scheduling link in the chat. But then also too, you're going to get an email from me after this call, which I'll have our team's calendar on there where you could book with a rep specifically, and we could dive into your specific areas and your specific scenarios. Um, but I'm happy to answer any questions right now while we're here. If not, all good. You could see that Molly, again, she threw her link in the chat so you could book on her calendar directly. And she may even have availability in the next day or so. So we'll work to get you in. And you're also all going to receive an email after this as well. And then we'll go from there. All right. So, well, we're going to conclude this webinar for today. By all means, feel free to book with us and we'll go from there. Thank you.